Good morning, everyone. My name is Radwan Masmoudi. I'm the president of the Center for the Study of Islam and Democracy, and it's a great pleasure to welcome you this morning, and also to welcome Minister Zied Ladhari from Tunisia, Minister of Vocational Training and Employment. As you know, Tunisia has made great progress on the political front in its democratic transition. Is so far the only successful country after the Arab Spring in staying on course with the democratic transition. Tunisia has organized 3 free and fair elections since 2011 and has written a very progressive democratic constitution, has worked together. All the different parties have been able to work together in various coalition governments. So on the political front, I think it's fair to say that Tunisia remains on course and has made great progress. However, on the economic front, there still is a lot that needs to be done, and there is a problem with the economy, especially since 2015 attacks on tourism. And we know that tourism is a big sector in the Tunisian economy, which employs almost 400,000 people in this sector, and this sector has been badly hurt and damaged since the 3 attacks of 2015. And of course we have the big problem of employment, which was the main cause for the revolution. A large number of people, young people, educated young people are looking for jobs, and this situation still has not drastically changed or improved since the revolution. So there is a feeling of a crisis in the economic front, and so I think that Tunisia needs a lot of support from the United States, from the international community, especially on the economic front, to make sure that young people have hope and have a belief in the transition to democracy, and actually that democracy can deliver a better way of life for people. Because this is what you are hearing today in Tunisia. Okay, we have made an election, we have made constitution, but who cares if it doesn't change our life, if it doesn't make our life better? So I think this is why we are very happy and very glad to see and to welcome Mr. Zied Ladhari, Minister of Employment. This is the biggest and most difficult challenge facing Tunisia today. So we are happy to hear from him. And also I'm happy to introduce our ambassador, Mr. Faisal Gouya, ambassador of Tunisia to the United States, who will also say a few words and then will participate in the Q&A.
Good morning. Thank you, Radwan, for the introduction. Excellency, the Minister of Vocational Training and Employment. I'm happy today to be here in this very beautiful institution to introduce Mr. Zied Ladhari, Minister of Vocational Training and Employment in Tunisia. Mr. Ladhari is handling one of the easiest and the simplest, departments and ministries in Tunisia. I think the first priority and concern in Tunisia is employment, and that's what Minister Ladhari is doing. 24 hours, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. It is not an easy challenge. It's very difficult for many reasons. I cannot speak before an expert, but I can tell you that it's a very difficult task. Since youth in Tunisia represent a high percentage of our population, the rate of youth in Tunisia is one of the highest because the population is young, but also we have many, and they are by thousands, many graduates every year from the Tunisian universities, and they are looking for jobs, and for that you have to create jobs that fits their talents and fits their qualifications. So this is another that the economy should have the capacity to absorb all these young people seeking jobs and seeking opportunities. The ministry is working on many initiatives, many projects. Minister will present these projects to you today. But let me tell you that Mr. Zied Ladhari is not only a member of the cabinet, but also he's a politician. He's a leader, one of the leaders of the Nahda party, the moderate Islamist party, a member of the coalition in the government. Nahda party now is the first party in the parliament. Nahda party also won the first elections in Tunisia, the first free, transparent, democratic elections in Tunisia. In the elections of 2014, Nahda was second in the elections. And now, because of the split in the first party in the country, Nahda now is once again leading in the parliament. Another party also is member of the coalition, as I said, and they are in coalition with 3 secular parties, which is unique in the world. I think only Tunisia can do that. An Islamist party which is in coalition with 3 other secular parties, and it's working. The coalition is successful so far, and we have very high expectations from this coalition, from this government. I don't want to, you never give the floor to a diplomat, otherwise you will speak for 13 hours non-stop. So I will stop here and give the floor, and please join me to welcome Minister Zied Ladhari. Thank you.
Invited me to speak to you today. I'm coming from a small country, Tunisia, but one of the last hopes of the Arab Spring. President Qais said, I don't know if there is an Arab Spring, I know there is the beginning of Tunisian Spring. And I think it's, he said this in 2011, and I think it's the case 2016. Tunisia achieved right now remarkable success, remarkable political progress. One of the most progressive constitutions in the region, for free and fair elections, smooth and peaceful transfer of power 3 times right now, from the revolution to 2016. And Tunisia, as Marwan Maash and William Burns said in their last report, stood as a lone shining example in the region. We are aware that we cannot consolidate this political success without an economic progress also, and an economic success for Tunisians. This is tops the priorities of the government. Behind the revolution, behind this tremendous political change in the country and in the region, were claims for dignity, for jobs, and for more economic opportunities for all. And we are aware that it is still, the claims still here 5 years after the revolution. The path to democracy was not easy, and the path to economic prosperity also is not easy. We are working hard to fix the economy and to meet high expectations of our people, and especially of the youth across the country. The government launched major economic reforms. We tried to ensure the stability of the macroeconomic environment, to modernize the business environment, and encourage local market competition, incentivize domestic and foreign investment. We are working on investment code. The parliament is discussing a new legal framework to promote private investment in private sector. We created also strong financial, we promoted strong financial and banking system with the new regulations now discussed and ratified in Parliament, new regulations for central bank, for legal framework for banking activities in the country. We also worked to strengthen labor market institutions and policies. And at our level, as a Ministry of Vocational Training and Employment, we are dealing with one of the most challenging issues, as Ambassador Guia reminded us, the employment issue. It's one of the most challenging issues because, as I tried to explain, behind the revolution and behind this tremendous political change was the demand for more job opportunities and more economic opportunities, especially in the interior region. To address this issue, we have to work on the economy because unemployment is an economic issue. And we are dealing with the economy. For this reason, we launched major economic reforms and major economic projects across the country and the region. The government doubled the public investment last year. We spent more than 5.6 billion for public investment across the country, and especially in the interior region, fragilized and marginalized regions. But we have to deal also with another problem, another cause for this for this unemployment issue, which is the gap between the output of our educational and training system and the needs of the labor market and the economy. And for this reason, to address this mismatch, we launched recently new program, stopgap program, called it Forsati, which means my chance or my opportunity. And we aim to offer more personalized and individual counseling and coaching and assistance for job seekers to promote and to develop their employability and to offer them the skills to succeed in the labor market. This is an important program. We had more than 80,000 of candidates to participate in this program, and we are now working to build the capacity of our job centers to be able to accompany these people and to offer them the right support and assistance. We also launched a major reform for our vocational training. We think it's very important for us to have this component of our human resources system to promote this component and not only to focus on university and higher education, because one of the major problems that we have that employment is touching more the university graduates than non-university graduates, and for this reason we have also to promote another component of our educational system, which is vocational training, and we have very ambitious project reform, very ambitious reform for the sector. We discussed it this week, in the beginning of this week. We discussed it with Parliament, one of the aspects of this reform. I think that Tunisia is now on the right path. We showed that Tunisians can succeed politically. We have to demonstrate that we can succeed economically. The political elite showed an important ability to compromise and to build consensus. It was not easy to promote national dialogue between the major political and social forces in the country. Tunisia won the Nobel Prize for that, and we are very proud about what we achieved on this field. But The country is dealing with a very turbulent and complicated regional context. What is happening in Libya, what is happening in the Middle East, the global threat of terrorism, what is happening in our major economic partner in the European Union, the slowing economy in the European Union. For all of these reasons, it's very tough. Today, the task is very tough, and the job is very tough for the government to deal with these major challenges. We think that Tunisian success is important for Tunisians, it's important for Tunisia, but also it's important for our friends and partners all over the world, including the United States, Europe, and the major Western countries. We think what is at stake in Tunisia is to show that democracy can deliver, and that democracy is good not only for its capacity to offer freedom of speech and rule of law and freedoms and liberties for all its citizens, but also to offer economic prosperity for its citizens. We have to demonstrate to the whole region, to those people who think that democracy cannot spread in the Arab world, and who are skeptical about the ability of Tunisia to succeed economically. We have, all of us, a responsibility, big responsibility, to show that we can succeed economically and we can meet the expectation of the youth, and to prevent this youth from the attraction and attractivity of radicalization of terrorist group and criminal groups and illegal immigration to Europe. We have to offer to all of these skeptical people a chance to believe that democracy can succeed in the Arab world, and democracy can deliver also, and can offer more a better future for the youth and for the marginalized regions. This is important, as I said, for Tunisians, but also important for our friends and partners all over the world. And for this reason, I'm here today to discuss with our friends in the US how they can offer more support for this democratic experience in Tunisia, and how they can mobilize also the international community and the major Western countries to support Tunisia. The major democratic countries with whom we share now this democratic ideal showed by the past that they can support nascent democracies. They did it in Southern Europe, they did it in Latin America, they did it in Eastern Europe, and we hope that they will do the same for Tunisia, and to promote this Tunisian experience, so as Tunisia, which is right now, which is so far an exception, can be a model also for the whole region. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ladhari, Mr. Ambassador. We now have about 25 minutes for Q&A. So please, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, raise your hand, and we have some mics. Munji? Oh, right here. If you can come to the mic, please.
Not very well situated.
That's too high.
Yeah, so you have to be very tall.
It was done for Munji.
Yes, I think he said it for himself. You talked about the imbalance between the supply of university graduates and and the demand in the labor market. Yes, are you doing something to try and limit university enrollment? And, I mean, you're promoting vocational education, but are you also trying to limit the supply of university graduates in some ways? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we think that it's important to promote a coherent and consistent strategy for human resources in Tunisia. And, because so far we focused and we proceeded with the Ministry of Higher Education working along, the Ministry of Vocational Training working along, the Ministry of General Education, so working from inside. So there is no coordination between the different components of the whole system. One of the major progress we did right now with the new cabinet, with the new government, is to develop and to promote this cooperation between the three ministries. We are working to promote vocational training as an alternative to higher education, because we think that we have more university graduates now than we need, actually. But we are working to limit I would say, the capacity of the universities and to develop the capacity of the vocational centers, but it will take time. This is a reform. This is a long-term reform, and this kind of change will take a lot of time, because it's a cultural also change. You have to change the mindset of the people, because in Tunisia, having a diploma from university was a sign of success, of social success, and was a tool for social promotion. So now to change this mindset, it takes time, and we are working also on the communication and on the how to promote this cultural change with the different other ministries also. So we think that it is now a matter of awareness by families and by students, which will be promoted, that the employability of vocational training is better than the employability of university, and then they will do themselves the necessary change, and the shift will be operated more smoothly. I think this is one of the major changes we are working on, and it requires also to develop the capacity of our vocational centers and the capacity and the equipment, materials, and all the things necessary to develop also a higher and better quality for our vocational training system. So we are working on, and we hope that with this new coordination between the different components of our human resources and educational system, we can obtain the results we are expecting.
Along the same line, is vocational training or technical training being reintroduced in the high schools? Because I know we used to have it in the 70s and early 80s, and then it was cancelled or undone in the 90s. Is it being reintroduced in high schools?
Actually, we have now two paths, two tracks. One for vocational training, depends from our ministry, and the high school, the classical path and track with the baccalaureate with the education ministry. One of the problems we are suffering from, that when they integrated the vocational training with the education ministry, there was really very bad results, because the number of vocational training is very limited, and if you have almost 60,000 of people who are on vocational training, you have 2 million in general education, so they cannot pay the same attention to this very limited population, and we had really very bad results. So we decided to separate the two systems.
David, you have a question? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, please, go ahead. And if you can introduce yourself briefly.
I'm Phil Jones, representing former Peace Corps volunteers in Tunisia. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Ennahda Party. I think Tunisia is a model for many things, and the Ennahda Party is a model for many things. Very admirable, I think, the way it's conducted itself. Two kinds of questions. One is, at a certain point after 2010, it was said that there was massive problems with employment and all of that, but that if you had a good degree in STEM subjects, science, technology, that you were snapped up. Those guys did not have, guys and women, whatever, did not have employment problems. Because everybody else. I wonder, is that true? Is that still true? And the second question is, you can try to change the direction of the education of the people. How about, are there thoughts of changing the economy itself? That if a different economy would be able to take new directions, provide new kinds of employment. So you can change the people, you can change the economy. Are you doing both?
Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, we have two major reasons, or two major, I would say, factors for employment in Tunisia. One reason is that the economy is not able to generate enough economic opportunities and job opportunities. The reason that we have the economy is slowing, especially in the after the transition, during the transition, after the revolution. So we don't have the capacity to offer as many offers as expected by the second factor is that we have a mismatch problem, and we don't have for enterprises and business community and the labor market, they cannot find what they want on the labor market because they have this problem of mismatch, and we have actually the problem is with the different people, different fields, including those who studied sciences and mathematics, techniques. It's a general problem. Our university system is not able to deliver what the market is asking for and looking for. And we are now trying with this Forseti program, for example, to deal with this mismatch issue, and to offer more coaching and to offer more in terms of skills and qualification, the complementary training these people need. So we are working on both sides actually to reform the whole system, but this will take a long time. And we are working with people who already finished their studies and are on the market. And for these people, they need specific and complementary training so as they can meet the needs of the market. So we are working on both sides, and we hope that also the business community and the private sector will work with us to deal with this issue, because finally we are working on the product in terms of human resources they need, and for this reason we have to know more about their needs, which is not always the case. So we have to work on both sides, and this is one of the major objectives of our global reform.
Thank you. David?
Dave Ottaway from the Woodrow Wilson Center. In January, you had the beginnings of another uprising in Kasserine. And I really thought we were going to go through another cycle of
And not only in
uprising
Kasserine,
and
it's
another-
spread to other
So my question is, why didn't it spread the way it did in 2011? And what are you doing in the interior area that's been neglected for so long? What kinds of programs for jobs are you promoting in Kasserine and Sidi Bouzid, et cetera, to prevent these periodic explosions?
When these events started in January, last January, some people thought that it was a new revolution in the country. And some of the images remind what happened 5 years ago. But the difference is that, and in my opinion, this is what explains why it didn't spread, and there was not the same effect of consequences of what happened 5 years ago, is that the new context, the democratic context of Tunisia, is now a major change that happened in the country, and explains that the security forces dealt with the situation in a very different manner. So we didn't have any victims from the people who protest, people who participated in demonstrations in Kasserine and other regions, and the security forces dealt with this situation in a very professional way, in a very democratic way, and they respected the full liberty of our people to express their views pacifically and democratically. So I think that this is the reason, in my opinion, why this event didn't spread and didn't have the same consequences in terms of political effect and impact. People thought it can be the same then 2011. So this shows that democratic institutions now are stronger in Tunisia, and that institution built with the consent of people are credible and are resilient and can absorb the shocks and the different social unrest, demonstrations and protests we worked also to address the expectations of our people and to offer them, especially to the youth, to give them hope that they can succeed economically and they can see the dividends, the economic dividends of the revolution. But as I tried to explain earlier, we cannot do it alone. For this reason, we need more support from our partners and our friends, because we are dealing with very challenging context. It's very difficult now to attract investment in these regions because they are lacking infrastructure, because they are lacking public services, but also because the whole regional context is not favorable for promoting and for development of investment. What is happening in Libya, what is happening in the whole region. So for this reason, we think it's important now to see more commitment from the international community to help Tunisia in these very critical moments, and to offer more assistance and more support, so as we can give hope again to these people who participated in the revolution 5 years ago, and to offer them more opportunities and more prospects. and to prevent them also from being attracted by the radical groups and the terrorist groups and the criminal groups who are also trying to recruit them, and to tell them, see, look, you know, we are democracy now, but your conditions are worse than dictator, than under the dictatorship. So the democratic ideal you think you share with the West is not offering you the opportunities you need, and that the Western countries are not standing with Tunisia in, as you know, as a democratic and nascent democracy. So for this reason, we need more commitment and more support for Tunisian experience, and we think this is crucial for Tunisia, but for the whole region. We cannot make this democratic experiment sustainable and irreversible, and we cannot offer the condition of stability and prosperity and a peaceful atmosphere in the region without offering for this youth in the region and especially in Tunisia more opportunities and prospects.
Thank you. Thank you, Radwan. Thank you, Mr. Minister. My name is William Aldridge. I work with USAID. In particular, I'm in the Middle East Bureau of USAID. I wanted to respond to your comment about the West and donor organizations doing more for Tunisia. I can't commit for my organization to do more. We're doing more this coming year than the current year. That's good. I'm asking if you can help us understand your priorities better, not necessarily here today, but going forward. One of the things we found is that because of the existing dynamism of the Tunisian private sector, as a result of actually a handful of very progressive policies that have been in place for some time, we're able to stimulate tremendous numbers of new jobs and fill those jobs by working with existing private sector companies, both in the interior and in the coastal areas. And this is just a result of the capacity of Tunisia's private sector. For instance, one endeavor, one project, spending maybe $5, maybe $6 million in 1 year. At the end of last month, it created 6,000 jobs just in Tunisia. Another one over 4 years, spending maybe $1.5 million of our money and some money from Hewlett-Packard and money from UNIDO and money from the Italians, created 1,600 jobs just in Kasserine, Le Kef, Sidi Bou Said, those more difficult areas to operate in. If we had a better sense of your priorities for that sort of intervention that definitely creates jobs versus other interventions, let us know going forward, and let our policymakers, above my level, let us know about that, and we can certainly shift and possibly do more. In addition, we have an investment fund that, although it's only invested $10 million so far, I just heard from them last night, they have a pipeline of $44 million for the next year, and an additional project is placed for $22 million of direct investment in Tunisia. So we're working, but let us know how you want us to prioritize our expenditures. And let me ask you, in this vein of producing more jobs, there are some policies that are particularly difficult for us in terms of creating jobs. But they're policies that have a huge political dimension. They're around labor. So labor laws are very restrictive. It's very scary for employers to hire someone because you kind of hire them for life. It's hard to get rid of employees there. And that is a political issue with unions, as is the question of taxes on labor. Taxes on labor in Tunisia are extraordinarily high. And the question is, politically, is there a way to reframe this discussion with unions that maybe calls for keeping benefits to existing union members the same, maybe lowering wages for new union members, lowering benefits for new members, but potentially significantly expanding membership of unions? Is that kind of approach potentially possible? Because at this point, in the political structure that exists no one I know really thinks there's much room to move on this issue of labor taxes and labor law. But there seems to be a lot of consensus that if there was some reform in those areas, it would be easier for the already relatively responsive economy to grow even faster.
Thank you very much. In terms of priority, we think what is really important especially for the marginalized regions, to have more access to infrastructure and to better public services. This factor is really important to attract investment in these regions. We are now a new framework, legal framework to promote public-private partnerships. We think it's an opportunity for our partners to also to help Tunisia and to assist the country to create and to develop the infrastructure in the region. This is one of the top priorities of the government. The second is invest in skills and qualifications. So we have to reorient our strategy of education and training to promote the skills and qualifications required by the market and improve tremendously the employability of the. So, and in this regard, we can benefit from the transfer of know-how, transfer of new educational tools and new educational infrastructure and content from our friends in the United States and Europe, and promoting also ICT tools and the technology is very important because we have now a new era of digitization and digital economy, and it is very important to have this new approach promoted in our educational and training system. The third priority is also to promote more technical assistance so as we can reform the administration, reform public service, reform the private sector, and to have more ability to deliver, to have more capacity of in terms of projects and in terms of supporting the whole economy to offer more opportunities for the regions and for the. It's also very important to have this technical and expertise assistance, so as we can also obtain the expected results. In terms of security also, because Tunisia is dealing with this now this global threat of terrorism. Tunisia faced this very challenging issue of terrorism these last years and impacted really very negatively the capacity of the economy to develop the growth of the economy and for the whole country. And it's very important to benefit also from more support on the military and security side, so as we can also deal with this global threat of terrorism and also to deal with what's happening in our neighborhood.
If I can add to that question, thank you, William, because I think that's a very important question. First of all, I came to the United States in 1981 with a scholarship from USAID, so I really appreciate what USAID has done for Tunisia. But, I mean, three very quick points. First of all, there are two Tunisias. When we talk about Tunisia, we have to understand there are two different Tunisias, the coastal area and the interior of the country. And if you travel anywhere between them, you feel the difference. And so the problem really is in the interior of the country. And it will be, I think, very hard to attract investment to that part of the country without real huge investment in the infrastructure in that part of the country. Investors are simply not going to go there because there is nothing there. And investors need to see that there is a good environment in which they can work and they can function. For example, roads and highways and schools and universities and hospitals. You know, if they're going to build a big factory in Kasrim and the closest good hospital is 3 hours away or 4 hours away on a dangerous road, you know, to Sfax or to Sousse or Tunis, you know, they're not going to go there. And so this is the real problem, is we need huge infrastructure projects in the interior of the country, which has been marginalized and ignored for the last 30, maybe 40 years. So that's a big deal, and the government clearly doesn't have the resources to do that. And so that's why I personally have been calling for a Marshall Plan to help Tunisia for the last 5 years. You know, we've done it for other countries. Why can't we do it for Tunisia? You know, and 100 million or 10 million or 20 million is simply not enough. It's not going to do the huge infrastructure. And that's an investment in Tunisia and in the interior of the country that I think will pay off. In a few years, the investors will come and see that there is real infrastructure. Then they can start to invest in the infrastructure. The second thing clearly is also we need to invest in the military to defend the border. We know that Tunisia has had a very small, tiny military, which worked well on the political front, you know, because the military didn't intervene and stayed out of politics. So that was a blessing. But now we need the military to defend the country and to defend the borders. Tunisia doesn't have helicopters or enough helicopters to protect its borders. I think it has 2 or 3 maybe military helicopters.
No,
More than that, but I know that they are very old, you know, they are from the 60s. And certainly the border remains porous. And Tunisia needs to buy new helicopters, but it's being asked to pay 500 million or 600 million of the money that it doesn't have, that it should go somewhere else, that goes to invest in the interior or the education system and all that. And you know, as a Tunisian but also an American citizen myself, I'm surprised why the United States would not give those helicopters as a gift to Tunisia, and why we're asking Tunisia to pay $500 million for the helicopters to fight against terrorism and to protect its borders. And the third thing, I think Tunisia needs a national dialogue on the economy. The political system worked because we had a huge national dialogue. By the way, not just the 4 quartets. Thousands of organizations were working on the dialogue on the political front, which led to the constitution by consensus, you know, after 2 years or 3 years of dialogue. And so now there is consensus on the political front, or at least on the constitution. We don't have a consensus on the economic model. You know, how do we develop the economy? What are the changes that are needed in the economy and the laws, or even in the labor union laws? And you know, and so we need a real national dialogue. I think that will take another year or 2 to bring, no, not 100% consensus, but a majority consensus, a vision for the economic plan for the future. And so Tunisians have to understand why we need to make these changes in order to support them. These changes cannot be imposed. And if they are imposed, they will be resisted. And it won't work. So this is a huge project that I think we will need to do for the next 2 years or so. Yes, please.
Hi, Mr. Minister, thank you very much. Kaya Benson with IREX. I'm the project director for the U.S. government's Thomas Jefferson Scholarship Program in Tunisia. So we have almost 250 alumni in Tunisia who have come home from studying at universities and technical colleges here in the U.S., and 100 more that are coming here to the U.S. next year. So my question for you is, for me and for colleagues who might work with youth in Tunisia, the youth are very motivated, and we've seen when the alumni go home that they start clubs and they start businesses and they start new projects and they really give back to their community. So what would you like us to tell the youth that we work with? What would you like the youth that we work with to tell other youth in Tunisia, so that the youth are also helping you improve Tunisia? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's very important now for the youth to believe that they can succeed in Tunisia, and they build a better future for them and for their country in Tunisia. It's very important that they still believe in democracy and the ability of democracy to deliver and to offer a better life for them, for their families, and for their regions. We are unfortunately now noticing some negative attitude from the young people regarding the democratic change and the democratic experience in Tunisia. Radwan, who played with the CSID an important role in the country, and the civil society was really the NGOs, vibrant NGOs, and very dynamic, engaged and committed. What we have seen in the 2 years after the revolution, now we have some, I would say, disillusion, and we don't see the same level of commitment from this, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for the country and for the region and for democracy. So what I would like to tell them is continue to believe that you can succeed and that you can build a better future, and that your role is very important to build your democratic this democratic change, because it's important for Tunisia, but it's also important for the whole region and for the world. And I think that for people who benefit from scholarships here in the United States, it's very important also to have this entrepreneurial spirit and to work to promote this culture. It's very important that these people say themselves as entrepreneur. They are not waiting for the state to fix everything, but they have the initiative to work and to create and to imagine and to change things around them. And it's very important to have this new spirit, and I think the experience here in the US is really great for promoting this entrepreneurship spirit, culture.
Well, with that, I don't know if Mr. Ambassador, if you have anything else to say or to add?
Can I say, after all what have been said by both of you, thank you, Minister, thank you very much, and thank you for CSID also for this committee.
Thank you all for coming. We look forward to seeing you, and please join me in thanking the Minister and the Ambassador.